Hello everyone, welcome to Reboot and Rise with MLR. In the last video, we have seen the identifiers and the rules to follow when we are writing the identifiers. And we know like rules are mandatory. But when we are working in the teams, it's not just about writing code that works. It's about writing code that is easy to read, understand, and maintain. In Java, especially, it has a set of standard naming conventions that will help us to keep our code clean, consistent across the projects. So let's break down them and see like what are the naming conventions that we have in Java for all these identifiers that we write. So let's start with what are the naming conventions that we have for class and interface. So when we are writing class and interface name, it follows something called as Pascal. So what does that mean is when you are writing class name and when you are writing class name and interface name, each word starts with a capital letter. That means example, if I want to write one word class name, example string, then capital S. If I want to write two word name, example, if I want to write a string buffer, so S starts with capital and then B also starts with the capital. Assume like I want to write another class name which has three words like a data input stream. That case I need to go with the data D capital, input I capital, and stream S capital. So every word starts with a capital letter. That is the naming convention that we have for class name or interface name. Second thing is example when we are writing method name. When we are writing method name, so this follows camel case. What does it mean is first word starts with a small letter, and then after that every other word starts with a capital letter. So example, I have a method called as a get. So that case I need to just write small letter. Think that I have to write a method called as a getChar which has two words. Then in that case G small and then small. In case if your method has a get instance number, so three words. First word is get small, and then every other word starts with capital instance number n capital. So this is the naming conventions that we need to follow when we are writing method names. And similarly, variables. So variables also follows the same as method name. That is first word starts with a small, and after that every other word starts with capital. Example, we have a variable which has only one word is, then I go with a small letter. In case if I have an employee name or emp name, I'll go with emp as a small, and then second word I'll go with the name. In case if it has a three words, employee n capital. So I have a two words e small, n capital, e small, n capital, s capital. So this is the naming standards that we have for names, variable names. And then next one we have is constant. So again it's a variable, but whose values will be, once we assign a value to a variable, that is a fixed, so we should not change or it's not allowed to change. So when we are writing a constant variables in our program, it follows all uppercases. So constants, the naming convention is all uppercases. So example, I want to write a variable called as a pi. So P capital, I capital. I want to write a variable called as max value, all capital. And in case if I want to write something called as a default timeout, something like this. So this is the naming convention that we have for constant. And the next part that we can write in our program is package. So how do you write a package? So a package name, it contains all small letter. So all small letter. Example, I want to write a package name called as java.awt. Then my package name is all small letter java.awt. Or if you want to go with another package called as java.io, or in case if I want to write example my own package name, so I'll just go with some com dot something ecom dot service. So everything you write as a package name, that is a small letter. Okay. So since we are talking about packages, let me cover one more important thing, that is something called as a library and package. So when we are installing Java, we have installed JDK and JRE, and that time I have mentioned like we have some libraries. So what is that library? So what is a library? So in Java, a library is a collection of packages, and each package contains set of related classes, and interfaces. We will talk about these classes and interfaces in later part, but assume like if this is a library, and inside this library you have some package like this, and each package contains some classes, some interfaces, and those are related classes and interfaces. Okay, so what does that mean is like the related classes, we can use those for to perform some task. Example, I have some package called as a java.io package, or java.sql package, or java.awt. So this contains some set of classes and interfaces that are to perform input and output related tasks. So from your program, if you want to write any input programs like reading the data from file, or if you want to writing something into a file from Java program, we have already some classes that we can reuse them in our program. Okay, or in case if you want to use database operations, we can go with classes and interfaces that are available in the SQL packages. Or else if you want to develop some user interfaces, where we can use those classes that are available as part of AWT package. Okay, so we are going to talk more about these packages when we are discussing about object oriented program. Once object oriented programming is completed, we will discuss about these packages more, but for now, a library is an archive file. We call it as a jar file, Java archive file. So you can find all these jar files under libraries. So, and not only are JDK JRE libraries, but in real time, like there are a lot of libraries. Example, if you want to use Kafka, or if you want to use JPA API, or if you want to use REST API, so there are a lot of API implementations they have developed, and they have compressed them as a jar files. We call them as a library. So we just have to import all those libraries into our project, and we can reuse all those classes and interfaces as part of those libraries. Okay, that's it for this discussion, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep coding. Thank you.